What's up, gente? What's up, Raza? I want to talk about a few things today, but specifically, I want to talk about gladiator games taking place not just outside of the White House lawn, this week. They just occurred last night, I would say, but also across the world, and especially here in the Americas with the World Cup, right? Those games. There's a basketball game championship in the NBA that just occurred, and that took place involving the Knicks and the Spurs, where the Knicks won after 53 years of never winning. It's a huge deal for people in New York. I used to go to school in the East Coast, so I know. And I was there in the '80s when when people were still kind of living those glory days. Um, and living it up, right? And then they go 30 years, 30 some years after that without even winning. So it's a big deal for fans, whether you like UFC fights, whether you like soccer or football, whether you like basketball, soon, whether you like American football, the NFL. The point is, there's a lot of stuff happening to keep your mind off of what's truly going on. And I titled this today The Gladiator Games because historically, and especially for those of you who've seen the movie Gladiator, it and that involves, I think, what's his name? The guy that played the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix. Uh, it's a really good movie to see what government does to you. Now, there's some stuff in there that's not true. As a history teacher, I could tell you there's some stuff in there that's just Hollywood. But the point in the movie, and this is important, if you go back to this Gladiator one, going back like 20 years ago, because they recently released part two after 20 years. It kind of sucked. I didn't like it. But go back to one and see what's going on there. Why do the Romans? Why does Commodus, this evil, Caesar, why does he give the people 150 days of games, of bloody fights, of entertainment? Well, the reason why is to keep the people who are starving, the people who are sick, and the people who are desperately seeking some sort of solution, keep their minds off of their hurt, their hunger, their poverty, their sickness. Unfortunately, this is a human condition, and that governments exploit. Unfortunately, this is a societal sickness that governments take advantage of, and they give them games, they give them entertainment, they throw them crumbs, barely enough water to stay alive, and crumbs. This is no different than what we do here in the United States of America when we watch, for example, football games. Y'all probably notice I'm a Raider fan, right? I'm a big Raider fan, always have been. And I know what it means to be part of that fan base that gets called all kinds of names and labeled, and you name it, criminalized if you want to go there. But also know why people hated us for so long, because we won, and that felt good. That felt good as a little boy watching football teams play. I really didn't care about football as much, even though I played it in high school. I didn't care, too much about it. As a matter of fact, I think the Chicago Bears were pretty fun to watch. The Patriots, they went to the Super Bowl and lost during those years. I really didn't have a football team to cheer for. The Raiders were the closest thing. The 49ers were there too. But even that got territorial, where some people would, cheer for the 49ers. Some people would cheer for the Raiders and Dallas Cowboys, and you name it. So even amongst the people living in the barrios and in the hoods, and I grew up in a barrio of Chicanos, Mexicanos, and African Americans or Black community, which was very strong. We even had a somebody there whose family member played on the 49ers football team. So we were divided, a lot of us. And man, sadly, that's the case today, where people will kill for these teams. People will kill for this logo or other logos. And that's wrong. That people should not kill for those things. People should not kill for a billionaire's project. These billionaires who own these teams, they never played football. Vast majority of them definitely did never played NFL, but they have enough money to exploit, this game, and people will kill to support or back up that logo. I never fell into that trap. I went to college and I got caught up with the Raider, movements, and I love Raider football more today because of the history. The Raiders being one of the first teams to give black players, to give Chicanos a chance to go out there and win, to give the quote unquote working man or working persons a chance. The Raiders were ahead in many ways of a lot of teams progressive in that sense, but I wouldn't kill for the Raiders. I wouldn't kill for the logo today or then. It never occurred to me that that's something you would want to do. But for a lot of people, the truth is, some people, that's all they got. Young people, especially, they live off of and they live vicariously. That means they watch their teams win and they're cheer for them, like the New York Knicks fans did this last, couple of weeks. And some people will kill, like what happened in Los Angeles, where I think it was a Giants fan went through Dodgers Stadium, and I think the parking lot got killed in the stadium. We should never get to that point, especially when these billionaires, they don't care about us. They don't care about our communities. If they did, they'd be giving some of that money back, but they don't. And that's the point with these gladiator games being put on by the White House, being put on by Trump, who, by the way, for the record, the Knicks should have won that championship 4 games straight. But everybody noticed, what game did they drop? What game did they lose? They lost game number 3, I believe it was, or yeah, number 3, where Trump showed up. He should never have shown up. He never shown his ugly face. It's always, he wants to make it about him. He's that narcissistic, where he wants the attention taken away from New York and the Knicks. So the Knicks should have won it, in 4 easily, but he stole that. He deprived the city of New York the chance of getting a championship on their turf. Ultimately, they got the championship. That's good, but man, talk about narcissism and selfishness, taking it away from the people. That shows you that he doesn't care about the people; he cares about himself, and so do these billionaires. I wanted to make this video today, though, because I want people. I want to warn you. These gladiator games are meant to distract us. These gladiator games are meant to take our mind off of what's really going on. The war in Iran, the genocide still happening in Gaza, right? And the genocide's happening all over Africa that people have forgotten to talk about. And the people in Latin America, especially in Cuba and other countries, who are trying to stay alive because the United States is choking them to death, because capitalism is promoted as a great system, the best system, when in reality it kills people. Be careful, because these gladiator games are nothing but capitalism. People, this gladiator UFC fight that took place on the White House lawn cost $60 million just to set up the stage and do all that. So think about it, taxpayer dollars going for that kind of entertainment, just so we can keep our mouths shut because, oh, that was cool. And hopefully people don't fall into that mindset, because that's where it starts, where you start thinking something's cool and then you dismiss, you look the other way, you justify the killing and the starving of people, you justify the genocides that are taking place around across the country or in the world, and the genocides that are in the wars that are started by this crazy madman in the White House, right? And people start justifying homelessness. Look what's happening in Los Angeles. They're happening. The games, the World Cup is taking place this summer, and then soon the Olympics. They're moving the quote unquote homeless or houseless communities out of the way. And the Supreme Court recently, in a couple years ago, about 2 years ago, in a case involving, I think it was Utah, they specifically ruled that you could remove homeless people, you can arrest them, you can literally treat them as criminals if they're, laying there on the sidewalk. That's one, inhumane, humiliating as a human being to have to, live with that kind of ruling. But for a lot of politicians, that was their green light. That was their okay. Now you can move these people out of here. Now you can wipe them up, pick them up with a bulldozer, throw their stuff in the garbage, lock them up if you want to, because now they're criminals. So we've criminalized poverty at the highest level, which is the Supreme Court, and of course the Congress hasn't done anything to support people or to help them. If anything, these politicians have, like I said, that was their green light to go ahead and move people out of there. And so don't fall for these crazy gladiator games that are taking place. Don't fall for the sideshow that's meant to distract you from what's really going on, the problem of poverty, sickness, and one sick man, talk about poverty versus capitalism. One sick man named Elon Musk, a racist piece of crap, straight up. One sick man became a trillionaire, and while people are dying in the streets. So with that said, I just want to bring that to you, especially during this time when we've got with these games taking place. The not just the soccer, the World Cup, not just the NBA playoffs that just finished, not just this stupid UFC fight that took place on the lawn, White House lawn, but also the upcoming NFL football season, etc. Don't fall for these sideshows. That's what they're meant to do is distract you and keep your mind off of the true issues and problems that are happening. Give you crumbs, make us fight for those crumbs, right? That's why I say the Democratic Party is not our savior, because they do this, they take part in this. And so with that, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. That's why I'm calling this the Gladiator games, because that's exactly what's happening. All right, I'm out. Que viva la raza ojo.